Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Erin, and today I'm going to be sharing the books that I received for Christmas this year. It is a truth not quite universally acknowledged that if I receive a gift card or Christmas money as a gift for Christmas, it's pretty much a guarantee that I'm going to be spending it on books. So today I have some books that were given to me and chosen by the gift givers, and others that I got with gift cards and things like that. The first book I received was actually a set of books from my sister-in-law. It's called The Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel by Michael Scott. This is a trilogy that kind of spins off of the character Nicholas Flamel from the Harry Potter series. This was on my wish list, and my sister-in-law got me that, so that's pretty fun. I'm excited to read that. The plot summaries sounded really interesting on those books. Then from my husband, I received another book that's been on my wish list for a while. This is the illustrated version of The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. It's such a pretty edition. There's artwork throughout, and I've just really been loving Neil Gaiman's work lately. So this is one that I was so excited to open up on Christmas. Then I have a few books that I got with some Christmas money that my mom sent me. We have a local independent bookstore that's not too far away from us, and I went down there and got some books that I hadn't been seeing at my local Barnes that I thought looked interesting. The first was a bookseller's rec called Rules for Visiting by Jessica Frances Kane. This one says that it's about a woman named May who loves literature and her work as a botanist for the university in her hometown, but she's more at home with plants than people, which is something I can relate to. She takes a leave from her job and explores friendship with a few different people in her life. So I thought that sounded interesting. I'm excited to read that. Then this one is called Rebecca Not Becky by Christine Platt and Catherine Wigington Green. This is about a woman named Deandra Whitman and her family who are new to the upper crust white suburb of Rolling Hills, Virginia. Her mom has Alzheimer's, she has a daughter named Nina who's starting kindergarten, and her neighborhood is overwhelmingly white. But her therapist proposes a challenge to help her adjust, make a white girlfriend. So this is about a black woman and a white woman in the same neighborhood who presumably become friends, and some things happen that kind of throw a wrench in things along the way, it sounds like, and I thought this sounded interesting. So I'm going to give that a try. Then I picked up from a new table All the Little Bird Hearts by Victoria Lloyd Barlow. This is about an autistic woman who's living in 1988 before autism was widely diagnosed, and it's a psychological drama that I thought sounded like it could be good. Then from the new table, I also picked up The Fiction Writer by Gillian Cantor. This one is obviously about a writer, and I don't want to know too much about it going in, but I usually enjoy books about writers and books, so it sounded like one that could be promising. So those were the four that I got from the independent bookstore. And then at Barnes, I was able to pick up a collection of paperbacks, and then the day after Christmas or the next day, I picked up some hardbacks from their hardback sale. So first, let's go through the paperbacks. I picked up The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Delilah Harris. Could be Zakiya. I don't know. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing her name. But this one is about an editorial assistant named Nella who is tired of being the only black employee at Wagner Books. The company ends up hiring another black woman, and things kind of get a little complicated. So that sounded like it had some interesting storylines happening. Then When in Rome by Sarah Adams. I picked this one up because it sounds like a retelling of the older movie Roman Holiday, which stars Audrey Hepburn. It's a movie that I really love, and I really enjoyed a book I read recently called, I think it's called Faking Christmas by Carrie Winfrey. That one was inspired by an old black and white movie that I also really like called Christmas in Connecticut, and I enjoyed that book a lot. So I thought I would give this one a go since it's based on another movie that I really liked. Then I picked up The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I've been hearing Shaughnessy at Shaughnessy Reads talking about Frida McFadden a lot, so I decided to get one of her books so that I could give her a try. Then I got a couple of books that are the first books in different series that I've just never read but that have been very popular. I didn't want to invest in the whole series without knowing if I was going to like the writing style or the storyline, but I thought that getting the first book in each series could be a good way to start. So I got Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I've heard some people start with a different book that I think is like a prequel or something that came out later, but I'm going to go ahead and start with this one because I think that will be the most consistent with a lot of people's experience reading the series. We'll see. I don't know how I'm going to feel about these, but there's that one. And then also by Sarah J. Maas, A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is the first book in a different series. Then I picked up The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory. Sounded like it could be cute. Then I picked up Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett as part of a buy one get one 50% off sale. Actually, I think most of these were part of that sale, the ones from Barnes anyway, but the plot of this one just sounds really cute and a little bit fantastical and kind of like a nice little cozy escapism type read. Then I bought Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I've never read anything by her, but this one sounded a little bit different, so I thought this might be a good introduction into her work. Then, as part of that sale, I also picked up The Witches at the End of the World by Chelsea Iverson. This one sounded really interesting. The summary on the back says, deep in the birch woods of Norway, magic courses through the veins of two sisters. For years they've been alone, but sweet-tempered Kaja is tired of living in shadows and longs for a life filled with community, even if it means stifling her magic. But Minna is a witch through and through, with wrath always simmering just below the surface. Different as they may be, both will never forget the day they were driven from their village, the day their mother burned. I thought this just sounded a little bit different than anything else I'd ever read, so I thought I'd give it a go. And then the last book in that buy one get one 50% off stack is called Lilith by Nikki Marmory. This is inspired by an ancient myth. So in Christian tradition, the origin story attached to the Christian faith asserts that Adam and Eve were the first humans, but there are actually some sects of Christianity, and I think even Judaism, that still holds to an ancient myth or legend that before Eve there was a woman named Lilith, and this is a story that's based on the idea that Lilith existed before Eve did, and the author kind of explores what that story could have looked like. So that's that stack. And then as part of Barnes & Noble's hardback sale, they're doing, I think it just ended, but usually at the end of the year, they do a 50% off all hardcovers in store only. This year it's 33% off hardcovers in store only, with some select books online 50% off, and then they're adding like $20 in rewards added to your account for every $50 on hardbacks you spend. So the sale's a little bit different. I've heard a lot of people who are really disappointed about it, but with the rewards that you get back, it's actually still a pretty good sale. So I picked up 5 books as part of that. One is What You're Looking For Is in the Library by Michiko Aoyama. This was translated by Allison Watts. It's within the category, I believe, of Japanese translated fiction, and it just seemed really cozy. I read the first few sample pages online, and the writing style seemed very appealing to me, and I'm excited to give that one a go. I don't know a whole lot about the storyline, but it sounded like it would be good. Then along that same vein is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I'm so sorry, I probably pronounced that wrong. I'm not very good with names. I probably ought to start looking up names and hearing how the people pronounce them themselves before I try to do it on camera. I'll try to get better at that, but this is also Japanese translated fiction, I believe, and it's the first in a series of books that all just sound really cozy and sweet, so that's one. Then I picked up Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Lord by Celeste Connolly. This sounds really funny to me and really interesting. So from what I can tell, it's set, I think, in the Regency period, and I haven't read the synopsis in a little while, but if I'm remembering correctly, it's about a woman who kind of ends up exploring what happens to the wives that husbands just kind of institutionalize to get rid of them so they can do whatever they want. And it just, I don't know, it sounded intriguing, so I picked it up. Then by Brandon Sanderson, I picked up Tress of the Emerald Sea. I believe this is the first book I'll be reading of his. I've looked at a few others, but I think this is the first one I've actually purchased. I originally checked this one out at the library, and I thought that the beginning that I read was interesting enough that I wanted to have my own copy, so I grabbed that. And the last book is The Secret Book of Flora Lee by Patty Callahan Henry. This one is about two sisters who grow up during wartime. When the younger sister is still quite young, the older sister makes up stories about this imaginary magical world to kind of distract and comfort her sister as they're dealing with everything that's going on around them that has to do with war. And then her sister disappears, and when she is grown, the older sister receives a package that is a book that's been published about the imaginary world that she had created for her sister, but she's never told anyone else about that world. So from what I can tell, the book is about her trying to decide or find out rather if her sister's still alive, and if she is, where is she? So that sounded like it could be a really good story too. I also still have a few gift cards left to spend, so I might do a part 2, like a Christmas gift book haul at some point. There are some books I'm looking at. I just haven't decided which ones I want to get yet. So if I do decide to get books with that, then I'll come back and add a part 2 of this video for you. If you received books for Christmas too, I'd love to hear about maybe your top favorites that you got, or the one that you're most excited to start reading. Thanks so much for watching today, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!